Welcome,
Hello, hello.
everyone. Happy Tuesday. How are you, Jake?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. We
Happy to hear.
are. You're listening to HubSpot Super Admin Masterclass. We're over here on Discord. We have lots of fun. Today was a big day. Kyle Jepson asked about some inbound topics, and then the stream just flooded with feedback. So it's always fun to see passionate topics. And you're listening here after the fact or live on, we're streaming out to Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So hello, everyone out there in the world. And what we have for you today is another masterclass from the HubSpot Super Admin. So let's get into it. The HubSpot Super Admin, remember, is a community of people who are HubSpot users doing HubSpot things. And by and large, we need space to collaborate on what it is we think we're doing so we make sure we do it right. We're running this series called Masterclasses, and the point being HubSpot is growing. So how do we make sure that integrations or applications being built on top of HubSpot are in our lexicon, are things that we can install? Well, the Masterclass series is here to answer when do we click install and on what. So that's what we're going to be doing today. With us today, we have Jake from Aircall. Hey, Jake.
Hello, hello. How are we?
Doing well. Doing well. And so Jake's going to walk us through Aircall. He's going to give us a demo. He's going to talk about some of the use cases and some of the reasons why you would go into Aircall. Before we get into that, I guess, Jake, on my first startup, I installed Google Voice on my phone. So, one, I had my phone, my personal cell phone, and its number, but then I also had a second number with my Google Voice. So, I'm pretty much set up as far as a small business is concerned, right? That's what you need.
Right. Well, you're one step ahead of many in that you weren't using your personal cell phone number, which can be definitely convenient as a solopreneur. But the moment you have a sales rep or someone else that isn't you, and you're using your cell phone, they will be as well, which means all their contacts. Any activities they're doing are kind of, you're taking them at their word, and they can take them with you.
I could just imagine using my cell phone and then passing it to someone to call from. So we're obviously having fun. That was what my setup was like, but what is the use case, Jake, beyond that sort of I've installed Google Voice? What is the need for above and beyond of having cloud-based, distributed phone services?
Absolutely. So, a few-part answer here. You're going to need a business phone system and a separate phone system from your cell phone, so you can save time as a user, so you can add accountability as an admin, and so you can create a better experience for your customers and the end users and end results of the phone calls, people who are calling in and people that you're calling. So I think the question here is why is it so important to make sure phone is integrated with your CRM and with HubSpot, or with your help desk with HubSpot? And the answer there is on 3 levels. So one, is an admin, you need accountability for your reps. You need to make sure that you can track your reps on what they're doing on activity, that you're able to listen into their calls, you're able to listen to the recordings, see their notes, and have all that available at your fingertips, as well as setting up a more professional call center experience like IVRs, press 1 for sales, press 2 for support. And then you have the advantages for the reps, the actual support agents or sales agents that are making and receiving calls. Having it integrated with HubSpot, your phone will allow them to save a lot of time in both not manually logging calls, not manually logging notes. They don't have to manually create new contacts, create tickets, saving minutes per call, we're talking, as well as giving them all the prior context that if anyone has ever called in before, they have access to all that information, to the deal info, prior ticket info, before even picking up the call. Now, what does that result in? A significantly better experience for the end user, for your customers, for your clients, and your prospects who aren't waiting on the phone for 2 minutes when they call in for you to look up their info and get up to speed. And who just, we call it flipping the conversation, really, in giving context. Having context when calling changes it from, hi, who is this? How can I help? To, hi, Grant, I see you recently placed an order for a new baseball. Is this what you're calling in about today?
Yeah. It makes so much sense, and I love the reframing because even the question is insightful, Jake, that it's, why do I even integrate in the first place? Oh, wait, integrate? What do you mean? I have my call history. Like, I can just go through it. What do you mean? Yeah, why would you integrate all of these systems together? Because you're talking to customers who are buying products, or you're interacting with them in the services you provide. That question, even in of itself, gives me insight that yes, there should be some integration.
Absolutely. We'd like to think so. We think Aircall is great on its own, but with HubSpot in particular, it really becomes a way to supercharge your sales and support teams.
All right, Jake, there's lots to get to. Now that everyone has removed Google Voice from their phone and realizes that is not the solution, we have Aircall. There's lots of points to it, but you're going to go over some things. And before you get into a demo, you want to kind of tell us about the business itself, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Heard. All right, so Jake, you are in.
Perfect. So Aircall. What are we? We're a cloud-based phone system. We're available on both desktop and mobile. Really designed specifically for sales and support teams ranging from 3 to 500 users. That's 3 users to 500. Got to clarify, not 300 to 500. We felt that there is a big gap in addressing that market between the Google Voice and kind of the ultra enterprise call center, the same way HubSpot did on the CRM, and we tackled that. We aimed to tackle that same gap at the same time. It's worked out. We're over 700 employees now, over 12,000 customers worldwide. Today we actually announced surpassing $100 million in ARR as well. Woo! Very exciting. So even in hard times, hanging in there. Now, alongside building Aircall, we've built up some really strong partnerships, but none stronger than HubSpot. If you can go to the next slide. Our HubSpot integration is our top integration, and our HubSpot partnership is our top partnership. Over 3,000 customers in common with HubSpot. We are the number one most downloaded phone solution, phone and SMS integrated solution on the HubSpot marketplace by quite a large margin. A lot of users on those accounts as well. And building in tandem, kind of with HubSpot in mind every step of the way, addressing sort of the same types of customers, figuring out what they need and putting it in a drop-down has allowed us to grow really quickly alongside HubSpot, which led to some really exciting news in February. If you go to the next slide, HubSpot Ventures decided to invest in Aircall to allow us to really maintain alignment both in product and in partnership and lockstep. So you'll always know that there are constant updates and constant support coming to this integration.
It's awesome. Those sorts of, I mean, how better can you open up than to say HubSpot themselves have invested in us as a company? That's fantastic.
Definitely, I think the most exciting day for a lot of us at this company was getting that validation. So awesome. With that,
That's great.
happy to give a quick walkthrough of Aircall, the Aircall HubSpot integration, and some key things to look out for that might indicate where we could be a good fit.
While you pull that up, just wanted to recognize John. Hey, John, for being here over in Discord. We are in the Masterclass channel. Those of you in Discord, you can jump down and you can watch live. Hey, John. Hey, Chuck. Go ahead, Jake.
Awesome. Let me know when you can see my screen. I believe I have it pulled up. All set.
You're up.
Perfect. Perfect. So this is Aircall. It's going to be in two pieces here. On the left, I'm going to have the phone itself. This is available on desktop, like you see here. We also have apps on iOS and Android that all function identically and are going to have that same HubSpot integration enabled. So you can take calls on the go and still have them show up in HubSpot when you get back to your computer. On the right here, you're going to have the admin dashboard. This is going to be where you're going to be able to create new numbers in over 100 countries, create routing rules, IVRs, like press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, teams, users, analytics, live call monitoring, as well as setting up the integration itself, which I will dive into in just a minute here. But for now, back to the phone. Pull this into the center, a little closer to it. This phone piece is what the majority of your agents, anyone that's on an admin, are going to be working out of primarily. You don't need to have it at the front of the screen. Anytime you want to make a call or receive a call, it'll pop up to the front. Just a side note, we want you working out of HubSpot at all times with this, in the background.
Heard.
A few things to note here. A few things to note here. On the left, I'm going to have my to-dos. This is where any calls that are assigned to me are going to live. I have a comical amount of integrations set up. It would be a lot cleaner. You would just see this in your case. Be able to listen to any recordings as well as any notes and tags associated. Voicemails and missed calls are going to live here as well. Be able to listen to those. For here, I'm going to have not only my call history, but also my SMS history. There's my private text with Grant. Can't look at those, but can dive into my text with Jimmy. Very one-sided, but here we are. We do have unlimited, basically unlimited SMS on all of our plans, free and included. At the base level. Those are also going to log into HubSpot, which I'll show you in a minute. Diving into the keypad here, currently I am, as a user, can be associated to multiple phone numbers. So currently I'm on my direct line, but if I wanted to dial out of a different number that I happen to be associated to, could do so with a click. Now I'm going to give myself a call from my cell phone, so you can see what that inbound call looks like. So here we're going to see Jimmy G is calling in. Jimmy's someone that I've talked to before, so I'm going to have all the prior context needed. Scroll down a little bit. I'll have access to his contact in HubSpot, company, email, all of that, as well as any open deals I have with him, and have access to all the information before even picking up the call. If I have the settings on to do so as well, once I pick up, it will automatically create a ticket in the background. Throw myself on mute to avoid some feedback and dive into the contact here. So now I'm into the contact. Again, if you want, before even picking up the call, I'm gonna have information or all prior information, prior engagements, make my life very easy that way. Diving back into the phone, I'll have some in-call features here: mute, hold, keypad for IVRs and extensions. Recording, this can be always on, always off. Can give the agent the ability to pause and play, whatever makes most sense for your situation. Our recordings are HIPAA compliant as well. They store as links on our AWS servers. They can also store on private servers if you wish them to. And we do offer PCI compliance as well. We're going to have our notes that are going to sync over, as well as tags. Tags are really interesting because these are going to sync over both in the call notes and as a custom object, which I'll show you in a minute. Really, really, really valuable stuff for building workflows. Down here, you're going to have transfer collaboration features. So I have transfer. I can scroll. I can search for a team or a user. We have warm transfer, cold transfer, transfer to external numbers, whatever makes the most sense, as well as call conferencing. I can call folks separately or add them to the call as needed. I'm going to go ahead and hang up. And as I hang up, that call engagement is going to start logging. I'm going to give myself a quick refresh here, and we'll see the majority of that information flows in, with the rest of it coming in a minute. We'll see that ticket got created as well the moment I picked up the call. And these call logs are going to log onto the deal and the ticket as well. Here we're going to see inbound call, name of the number, name of the user, who's calling, any notes I took, tags, all of that. In about another minute, things like the recording, call duration are all going to flow over as well. SMS, like I mentioned, is going to log. This is what it'll look like. Relatively straightforward here. It looks very similar when you receive one as well. That is an inbound call. For an outbound call, we do have click to dial, not just within HubSpot, but actually anywhere on the internet. It'll recognize any phone number. You can click there. It'll jump up to the front of your screen. Again, if it's minimized, same thing. You click here, it's going to jump back to the last place you had it. So you don't need it up on the screen like I have it here when you're not using it. Scrolling down, we do have a power dialer as well. It'll find at all times it's searching numbers. I'll find a better screen to do it on, but it is searching numbers, filtering out duplicates, and waiting for you to load them into the power dialer on any page in the internet. Down here, we're going to have our custom objects. So you're going to have our last Aircall call outcome. That's based on how the native field is set, which you'll have control over in the settings. Last use Aircall tags. Like I mentioned, this is probably our most powerful tool for workflows, which I'll show you in a moment. We have our last use Aircall phone number, as well as the timestamp. This goes into the second. It's just not displayed on the contact object, but you click into it, you can get more granular. But like I mentioned, I keep talking about the tags, and it's a big one for us because this is actually going to be a big reason why you might choose to go with Aircall over HubSpot Dialer when it might not be the best fit. Is greater access and options to automations. I'll show you how this can be used as a tag, but as I'm pulling this up, an example. Let's say it's a support use case, and you want it to you have a tag called send survey. In that case, you want it maybe 30 minutes after any support call to automatically send a survey, ask how the service was. You'll be able to create workflows to do that using the Aircall tags right here. Send survey. Boom, save, and now you have a workflow. Of course, you guys are the experts here and can figure out, what to do from there. Just wanted to get your mind running a little bit. Going back to HubSpot itself. Of course, you have workflows, but you also have dashboards. We have pretty fantastic analytics within Aircall but we can build just about all of it in HubSpot as well. We have tutorials already pre-built on how to create every single thing you see here. You can get pretty granular and report on tags, report on custom objects, all that good stuff.
Love it.
So, one last note, as I mentioned, we do have a power dialer as well. Get this going. My computer sounds like it's going to explode. So excuse me if this takes a second. So we have a lot of numbers on this page, and at all times, like I mentioned, it is scanning. So if you're a power dialer user, you can have this little widget up here. It's going to, again, my browser might crash any moment here. We'll see. But it is filtering out. We're about to take off. But it is filtering out the duplicates. You can load them in, and it'll dial through them one by one. There we go. Boom. Expecting a beach ball here, but I might leave this going in the background before my computer explodes. But you get the picture. There we go. It's going. Yeah, that is a pretty good overview of the integration inside HubSpot. Now, a lot of that outside of maybe the tags, you're probably thinking, well, you can do a lot of this with HubSpot Dialer. Why wouldn't I just recommend that? Which I understand that sentiment. And this is kind of where you might say the triggers are going to come in for when it might make sense to recommend Aircall. There we go.
Got it.
So I showed you our analytics from a historical standpoint within HubSpot. What we do have as well, though, is live call monitoring. In a remote world, this is more important than ever. Being able to monitor, this is actually our production Aircall count. I can monitor our SLAs, agents in queue, check our wait times. And these are live calls that are actually happening. I can click into these, listen in, either incognito, or we do have call whispering. So I can speak to Kai here without the person on the other end hearing what I'm saying. So, manager's dream, SDR's nightmare. It's people love it. Now, another thing here is going to be not just creating a number for a teammate to have, but creating numbers that entire teams can use, numbers that can route through different teams. This is an Argentinian line. We can create phone numbers in over 100 countries instantly through the dashboard. Choose what kind of number you like, toll-free, local, pick your area code. Once that number is created in seconds, you'll be able to create welcome messages. You can either upload a MP3 or we do have text-to-speech options in most of the languages you'll ever need, as well as different accents within those languages. Just takes a few seconds to get that all set up. And now once it's ringing through, right now it's set to ring to, let's say, the UK outbound SDRs. If you have 3 folks on that team, 3 users, then the Australian inbound SDRs, and then Rebecca as our fail-safe. If you wanted to maybe move Becca up, drag and drop, updates live. Let's say maybe right now this is ringing to all the outbound SDRs simultaneously, and you instead want it to ring to them randomly, or longest idle, whoever's been active without picking up the call for the longest amount of time, you can do that with a click as well. Adding new users, same things, takes seconds. This is a good example of a classic line. I've also mentioned IVRs a few times. Here's another thing that is going to give your organization a much more professional feeling, but being able to set it up in seconds in a way that if I can figure out how to set it up, then you don't need to be an IT expert. Again, here you're just going to pick your. It's very similar. But you're going to pick your options. Right now, it's set to 1 for sales, 2 for support. You'll be able to record an IVR message. Again, text to speech or custom file options, and have that set up very quickly as options. These can go to different IVRs. So you can have multiple phone trees, or go to classic lines like I showed you before. Those classic lines also can very much be personal lines. You don't need to have teams or multiple users on them. They can be personal lines, and can be updated as you please.
That's fantastic.
One last thing to show you here is, of course, the integration settings. The integration itself, I'll say the phone itself, for the majority of use cases, we can set it up in around 30 minutes, have you totally up and running your whole team. The integration itself takes literally 5 clicks to be up and going. As long as you're an admin in Aircall, admin in HubSpot, 5 clicks, the integration is up and running. You have information flowing in both directions. From here, we've put everything in drop downs. So if you want to be able to choose how the native call outcome field is going to set, you're going to do that here. For every different type of call, you can choose how you want that to be set. Inbound answered, outbound unanswered. To make that reporting look exactly the way you want to. Ticket creation. You'll be able to choose which pipeline you want it to log into. And then do you want it to create a ticket for an outbound call, answered, unanswered, inbound? Not only do you want it to create a ticket, but how do you want that to be set? Same thing with SMS. Inbound and outbound SMSs can create tickets as well. If you want different numbers behaving differently, you can set up multiple integrations as well, and have these, maybe one for the sales team, one for the support team. So you don't have the sales team phone numbers creating tickets if they're using both sales and Service Hub. You can also choose if you want it creating a new HubSpot contact or not. Maybe you want to save a little money. Maybe you don't want certain numbers to be creating contacts, but you want the sales numbers to be automatically creating new contacts. You can set all of that up there. That's Aircall at a high level. We have stats too, if anyone's interested there. We can get pretty nitty gritty into into customer support analytics, productivity analytics. We have a whole lot of dashboards here for you all to dive into. That is the demo at a high level. I will stop streaming here, and we can move on to the next.
Jake, thanks. That was,
of course.
One, I get the call and the phone. On the front end, when I'm making the joke about having a basic phone, really the question doesn't even become like, do you have a phone? Because that's not even the question. That's just getting to the table. I don't even know if that's Annieing in, honestly. That's like taking a seat. Because, the amount of things you showed in retrospect, on the back end, once you get your account set up like you showed, those things are going to happen ongoing. You're going to have that set up on the back end ongoing. So for one, now I know when particular things happen, whether I'm getting a task, whether I'm getting a call, if I'm not there, who's going to get it. So that gives me confidence. But then even a step 2 would be, after those things happen, I can have things in HubSpot happen. So if everything, if the phone thing, but now you're at least sending it to a place where I can maybe send a follow-up email because I missed it. I'm now capable of knowing those things are happening, to whom they're happening, who called, it's being tracked. That sort of confidence on the front end is huge. And then, of course, on the back end, you get all of the analytics and reporting in the middle, in Aircall or in HubSpot. In the middle, then, you also have that beautiful dashboard. In the top right, it looked like an Apple Watch to me. Right, but this beautiful dashboard of what's going on and who's on, how long they've been on, who they're with, which again, you said some people are going to love and some people are going to hate.
100%. I'm glad, and I'm glad you mentioned that it does look like Apple. We've taken quite a bit of inspiration from them, and it's
It's
actually with a
good.
purpose. We want it to look like an iPhone. We want it to look like the phones that your agents are already using, so they can look at it and instantly understand what they're looking at. To just be as intuitive as possible.
It just feels like a full solution for once I'm past the point where I just need to call someone and have a conversation, and I'm actually doing more than that. Anything more than that, I now have all the capability to scale to where I need it to be, and that feels really nice.
Exactly. Exactly. I think you nailed it, and that's sort of a natural lead in to my next point, which is really, I think it comes down to use case. There are a lot of use cases where a dialer makes sense. One to one, I normally say outbound sales. I know they are betaing inbound. So one to one outbound, one to one inbound, where if you maybe have one or two users that don't need to share phone numbers, where you're comfortable losing that phone number if you want to use a different phone system.
Yeah.
You don't mind, it being a random one that you can't port in or out. Uh, the HubSpot dialer is a great fit, and there are a lot of use cases where it is the right fit. And I would recommend that you go with HubSpot dialer. That being said, there are definitely a few triggers here where that might make you think
Yeah.
Aircall
Go
be a better
over
fit.
go over these with us. There are a couple things here that you were telling me before that it's like, look, these are just some things that once you get there, you're gonna need something more.
Absolutely. And this actually, this list is pretty much what the also what sort of HubSpot AEs use internally when deciding are they going to recommend HubSpot Dialer or Aircall or a different third party. This is pretty much the same list that they're going to be using. So just to say they wouldn't be offended by, me saying this.
Understood. So limitations,
Uh,
no IVR,
yes.
no porting, like
Yeah.
you said.
No IVR, no porting. If they have an existing number they want to keep, that is we'll allow them to port them in. If you want to go somewhere else, we'll let you port it out. SMS included. Teams, that's a big one. If you want teams using a number, or you really just have a team-oriented sales and support team, more so than like an AE or an SDR. That's going to be big. Anything international is a big use case for us. Like I mentioned, we're founded in Paris, headquartered or had offices in Sydney, London, Madrid, New York. We can support globally. Phone very well. Really, any advanced routing or routing past just one to one, they call your number. That's it.
Right.
Tags.
And
Sorry.
and Jake, to interrupt you here about the teams paired with the ring and routing has got to be like a power move. That all right, this team is associated with this number, but then also the routing within that team. How could you not? Yeah, yeah. Keep going.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, if you have an inbound sales number and you have multiple sales reps, uh, if you're receiving inbound phone traffic, how are you going to make sure that it's fair and equitable
right.
across the board? Um, it's tough to if you don't have team-based routing. So that's going to be a big one, as well as some of the other ones that I mentioned, just in terms of analytics and call transferring, call conferencing.
Yeah,
If those are things that are ever coming up, then you probably need more of a contact center like Aircall.
right, right. And for us data geeks and data nerds, the tags and automation paired with then an analytics backend again. If I don't know what I would do in the case that I want to send an email or send an email with some smart content, if I don't have the context of the conversation and I don't have the tag on the contact of the past purchases.
100%. 100%. With HubSpot, you get the or HubSpot Dialer, you get the native call outcome field. which definitely works. It does its job, but you doesn't give you a lot of context past you either spoke to them or you didn't,
Right.
or you left a voicemail or you didn't. You can't report on anything past that with the native HubSpot call outcome field. So I think you hit the nail on the head there.
That's good.
Awesome.
All right.
Pricing. The reason why I bring it up is because we try to use this as a value prop in a way, not just the price itself, but also that what you see is what you get. It is very transparent. It's either we have two tiers, but almost everything that I showed you today is on our base pricing plan, which is $30 per user per month paid annually or 40 paid monthly. That's no implementation fee, no setup cost, unlimited inbound and outbound minutes within the US and Canada, unlimited support, all of it baked in to the per user pricing. Just really try to keep it predictable. No buying minutes bundles. We don't want you worried about, like I mentioned, Black Friday comes up. You don't want to run out. You don't want to run out of minutes then.
Right. You don't want it to
Um,
be an issue. And I was part of the voting to keep this in, and I just want to make it known and call out that Jake wasn't pushing. It was me saying, look, it is a feature when the pricing model is simpler because now I can focus on the tech. Now I can focus on the functionality because I'm not having to do some matrix of pricing modeling against the tech. I can focus on what functionality do I need to implement. It's a priority for us as super admins. So super admins out there that you're watching, the pricing model matches what you want to do. So focus on what you want to do. Thanks for making it awesome, Jake. I know
Thank you.
this was all you're doing. You've done. Jake's been
Trying my
great
best.
through the process. We do have a couple people on. I have some Q&A that we can jump into. Caleb, David, any Computan, new one. Hey, welcome. Anyone want to ask any questions of Jake? You can come off mute if you'd like.
I'll jump in with one. So you said you support SMS. I have not actually seen. I've definitely seen a couple SMS solutions in the app marketplace, but as it relates to GDPR, do you guys have any concern? Can you SMS out of a workflow with Aircall?
So I guess sort of a two-part question. With GDPR, we are GDPR compliant. For that reason, we don't have SMS in every country yet. We do have US, Canada, I think France, Australia, I think maybe one more, maybe Germany. But we're working on the rest with GDPR compliance, like you mentioned. As of today, for workflow, you cannot trigger an SMS being sent via a workflow, but an SMS being sent or received can trigger a workflow. So receiving or sending an SMS can, for example, create a new ticket automatically.
Can you segment the trigger based on the text within the SMS? Like if I sent someone like, hey, here's your demo call link, or is it just whether it's sent or received?
That is
Interesting.
Let me get that is an
Let's
interesting
document
one.
that one.
Yeah, please. I will absolutely get back to you on that.
I like the hack on that. That's how we do it here, Jake.
Well,
Caleb coming in hard, and Jake is not, his role is not going in. Yeah.
No,
That's awesome.
I think so. I'm gonna guess probably I'll say like 60% yes, because I know we can filter in call notes and have it based on reporting and things like that based on call notes. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do the same thing in an SMS log on a contact.
I would agree. I would try that. Like that would be probably my first try of what you said, Caleb, and then either log something in and then just have like a trigger within the text that I'm
Yeah, just
referencing.
filter based on the notes. Yeah, I think that could work. That's a really interesting point, though. That being said, the SMS automation or being able to trigger an SMS via a workflow is very high up on the roadmap. I can't give a timeline, or several people at my company would kill me, but uh, it is very much it is probably the number one thing I get requested the most, and it is coming soon. And I'm really excited because I feel like at that point, right now, we can replace a good number of SMS products just like with a one-to-one use case. But as soon as we have that in, I think it'll be very, very holistic SMS and be able to kind of rip and replace any existing SMS tech you have.
All right, well, I won't drill you further, but I will say that I am coming from behind the curtain here. I'm a consultant within HubSpot, and so I might reach out to you about potentially seeing if I can set up some kind of demo portal to play around with those workflows we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do it.
David, Computan, any questions from you for Jake about Aircall? We have April, hello, over in Discord, saying hey, saying she recently recommended Aircall to a client based on their website alone.
Oh, wow.
So,
I love that.
Kudos to clean websites.
That is awesome. Thank you, April.
David, David came off mute.
No, nothing from me. It would be unfair since I came on late. My biggest question, which I think I missed at the beginning, was when to tell our partners that Aircall's right versus HubSpot is right. So I would be interested if you have any documentation that kind of lays out what you probably talked about that I missed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
And Jake, I'll take David. The slide that's up now is a bit of, hey, once you get to the point where these are features you need, Jake said this is that time for you to switch over.
Got it.
We'll send these back out, but just to get them captured in the recording, so we can come back to this.
Perfect.
Anything else you want to add, Jake?
No, yeah, it's really just a matter of use case, as always. Is it more of a one-to-one sales, or you just need a phone number on the website that one person, one person's answering? I think that HubSpot Dialer is a great fit. It's when you get into the more of the contact center or have full sales and support teams using the phone that oftentimes those features are gonna come into play.
Okay, great.
David, the OG, he's a goat around here, so you already know that, Jake. We're getting to the top of the hour. Jake, you did talk about having kind of a global presence for Aircall, and so that was one of the questions, which is kind of where are you at, where can you get started? And for me, I would just answer that quickly by saying whatever country you're in, reach out to Aircall if you want to install. They can probably support your country. If not, they're probably working on it. And it is always helpful that if you're in a country they're not in yet or haven't gotten compliance with yet, to get that feedback of saying, hey, people there want it, so come to our country. Customer-wise, are there any profiles that are of interest or of call-out of patterns? So of particular size, you kind of mentioned it on the front end, but I want to capture it again.
Yeah. So I call our ICP, it's really sales and support teams, some operations in there as well, but primarily sales and support teams from 3 users to 500 users that are using a modern CRM or help desk, in this case HubSpot. Really within that it's a broad topic, but again, it's a broad software. It's phone and SMS. So 3 users to 500 users, sales and support teams using HubSpot. There is a very good chance that will be a good fit, or at least worth a conversation.
Love it. Appreciate it, Jake. And big thank you to you and the Aircall team for one, creating an awesome tool. Two, congratulations on 100 million ARR announced today. And three, for being with us and giving us a demo. It's so helpful to have someone with your expertise walking us through what it looks like and what we should expect, so that when we see that come up, or when our partners, or when we're experiencing that in our own portal, we know, okay, here's the answer. Here's what'll do the thing I want it to do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And anyone who's interested, reach out. My email's up here, jake.dagon@aircall.io, or go to our website. We do free 1-week free trials. Just tell them that HubSpot Super Admin sent you, so I can know that, maybe I did something today.
Check off the box of that day success. Got it.
Exactly. But yeah, any questions on anything, anytime at all, I'm always available. So reach out.
Awesome. Thanks for being here, Jake, and everyone in the Super Admin community. Thanks for participating in and watching another masterclass. We'll do them every Tuesday, and we'll go through making sure that you have the pattern recognition to know when to click install. We love you, Super Admins. Go out there and do your best, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.